Godmorgen fra Copenhagen og velkommen til et nyt sprogeventyr. Welcome to a new language adventure coming to you from Copenhagen, at least for the first part of this video. I'm Mark from Coffee Break Languages, and today we're doing something exciting. We're starting the day in Copenhagen, but that's not where we're ending the day. So today I am taking the train, first of all from Copenhagen to Gothenburg, and then on to Oslo. So we're having breakfast in Denmark, lunch in Sweden, and dinner in Norway. It sounds like the perfect kind of day. Now, to make today's trip a real language adventure, we're going to be completing 3 challenges in each country. So 3 in Denmark, 3 in Sweden, and 3 in Norway. And the challenges are as follows. So the first challenge is that we're going to have to try to speak the language in some way. So use my Danish, my Swedish, and my Norwegian, which are at very different levels, I have to say. And then challenge number 2, we're going to have to eat something from each country. I'm looking forward to that one. And then challenge number 3, I want to try to do a walk, talk and learn in each country. Now, walk, talk and learn is our series on Coffee Break TV, where we walk around the town, we talk about the language we see around us, and we all learn something. So today I'm going to be taking that idea and doing it on the go when I'm out and about here in Denmark, in Sweden and in Norway. Now, we're starting today in Denmark, and I have to say my Danish is not great. I understand written Danish to a certain extent because it is very similar to Norwegian, and my Norwegian is a good bit better. But in terms of speaking Danish and listening to Danish, I do find that really quite difficult. So it's definitely the most challenging language to start with for me. Hej. Kan I få en spandau og en kaffe, tak? Og en kaffe. En kaffe latte. Mange tak. Does that count? Hopefully that's challenge 1 completed. Okay, we just have time for challenge number 2 before we get on the train, and that is our walk, talk and learn challenge. So I've spotted this sign and it says, Velkommen I dit, mit og vores tog. Lad os passe på det sammen. Now, apologies for my Danish pronunciation. I'm just learning. Please let me know in the comments if I am mispronouncing things. So the sign says, Velkommen I dit, mit og vores tog. So welcome in to your, my and our train. Now, tog, the word for train, is a neuter word, it's an it word, so that's why it's mit, dit, and vores would be the same either way. But welcome into your train, my train and our train. Now, this bit I needed to look up. It says, Lad os passe på det sammen, so let us take care of it together. Okay, we'll take a note of that in the notebook when we get on the train.
Som tar oss hela vägen upp mot Göteborg via bland annat Köpenhamns flygplats, Malmö central, Helsingborg, Halmstad.
That was a little bit touch and go, but we made it. They changed the platform at the last minute. So we are heading out of Copenhagen towards the airport, and then we're going over the Øresund Bridge, which is a really cool bridge. It's a tunnel and a bridge, and it takes you from Copenhagen to Malmö in Sweden. So we're going to be crossing the border pretty soon, which means that we've just got 1 challenge left to complete, and that is try something local. And so here I have spandau, which I heard was the most typical of Danish pastries, or Wienerbrød, as they say. So it's now time to try the spandau.
The gap between train and platform.
It's something I never go anywhere without is my notebook, my language notebook. And in this notebook I take notes on any language that I'm learning, interesting words or phrases that I want to look up when I get home and so on. So today we saw our walk, talk and learn example in Copenhagen station, and that was Velkommen I dit, mit vores tog. Lad os passe på det sammen. And I found out that you can say passe på noget in Danish, at passe på noget in Swedish, and å passe på noe in Norwegian. So the same idea, the same phrase is used in all 3 languages. And I often get asked about learning more than 1 language at the same time and how you can separate them in your mind. Now, it is very difficult if the languages are similar, like Danish, Swedish and Norwegian are. But sometimes in that situation, it really helps to learn certain phrases together and compare them. But if I had different colour pens or something like that here, then I would definitely be writing these in different colours so that I could remember which is Swedish, which is Norwegian, and which is Danish. Now, believe it or not, we are already about to leave Denmark because we're in the Øresund tunnel at the moment, which then becomes the Øresund Bridge, and we will then cross into Sweden. Nu är vi i Sverige och tåget har stannat lite i Halmstad. So we're now in Sweden and the train has stopped for a little bit in Halmstad, and that means I can get out and stretch my legs a little.
We thank you for traveling with us, and we wish you a pleasant day and a joyful weekend.
A joyful weekend, that sounds lovely. Well, we're arriving in Gothenburg, as you can hear, and so far we've done well. We've done breakfast in Denmark, we've spoken some Danish, we've eaten something Danish, and we also did a walk, talk and learn in Danish. Now we are arriving in Gothenburg, so I've got about 55 minutes or thereabouts to achieve some challenges in Sweden, and also get some lunch too. So the countdown is on. We have 55 minutes before our train to Oslo. Let's see if we can achieve our 3 Swedish challenges here. One thing I should mention, of course, is the fact that we have a coffee break Swedish course. So you can learn Swedish if you've ever fancied learning this amazing language. You can learn Swedish by going to coffeebreakswedish.com. Our course is 40 lessons. It equips you with all of the Swedish you need to get by when you're travelling in a Swedish-speaking area, in Sweden or in parts of Finland. And it will allow you to begin to really understand how the language works. So check out coffeebreakswedish.com for all you need to know. Now, I think I can complete challenges 1 and 2 at the same time here because I need to speak Swedish and eat something Swedish. But in order to eat something Swedish, I'll need to order it. And the aim is to try and not use English. So let's see how we get on. I think I fancy a salmon sandwich.
Hej, kan jag få en laxsmörgås och ett kolsyrat vatten, tack.
Mineralvatten.
Mineralvatten, ja.
Ska du äta här?
Ja. Du vill lax eller?
Du vill ha räk?
Lax. Okej. Men det går bra. Det går, ja. Okej. Perfekt. Tack så mycket.
Well, I think I've completed challenge 1. I've spoken some Swedish already. I asked for en lax smörgås, which I thought was a salmon sandwich. It is a salmon sandwich as far as I'm aware, but she gave me en räksmörgås, a shrimp sandwich to begin with. But I think we sorted it out eventually, and I have indeed got my laxsmörgås here. I also asked for kolsyrat vatten, sparkling water, and I managed to get that. So challenge 1, I think, is complete. Now we need to do challenge 2, and that is eat something Swedish. So my train is on the board. I have got about 10 minutes. This is a bit more of a run, talk and learn because we don't have much time before the train, but I have spotted a sign and it says Vi bygger ut I takt med järnvägen och gör det ännu bekvämare för dig att välja tåget. Now, again, apologies for my Swedish pronunciation. That might not be exactly right. Hopefully it makes sense. So I've tried to translate it quickly. Vi bygger ut, so we are building out, we're expanding. I takt med, is that in step with, in line with. Järnvägen is the railway. Och gör det ännu bekvämare. And we are making it even more comfortable, so bekväm is comfortable, bekvämare is more comfortable, för dig att välja tåget. So we're making it even more comfortable for you att välja tåget, to choose the train. Okay, it's time for the second train of our journey today, and we're heading from Gothenburg up the west coast of Sweden towards the Norwegian border and then on to Oslo. So we'll arrive in Oslo in about 3.5 hours or so. Looking forward to this. Let's go. Nu kör vi! So we're now on our way to Oslo. We are in a View train. This is a Norwegian network. So the View train travels from Gothenburg. I actually thought it was travelling up the west coast, but it's not. It's going inland first and then travelling west over the border and into Norway and on to Oslo. You may have heard the train announcement, and that was already in Norwegian because of this being a Norwegian train line, the View network. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this journey. So in Gothenburg we managed to speak some Swedish, we managed to eat something Swedish, and we also filmed a Walk, Talk and Learn, but I didn't really go into the detail there, so I wanted to make some notes on that just to make sure I've understood everything in that sign. So I think that means that we can tick off challenge number 3 for Sweden. 3 to go in Norway. We're not quite there yet. Our challenge is to eat something Danish, Swedish and Norwegian. There are probably few things more Norwegian than the Kvikk Lunsj. This is what is found in every Norwegian backpack going up into the hills or the mountains or for a walk. And it's basically like a Kit Kat, if you're familiar with a Kit Kat. But a little better, I think. I always enjoy this more than a Kit Kat. The problem is we're not in Norway yet, and I didn't have to speak to anybody to get this because I got it out of a vending machine. So I'm not sure if it counts. I'll hold off eating it until at least we're in Norway so that at least it counts for the eating something Norwegian challenge. But I definitely need to speak Norwegian before I can tick off that challenge too. I have an update for you. Vi är i Norge. We're in Norway. I noticed as we were passing a road, it had a sign, "Welcome to Norway" on it, and the street signs are different. The forest looks pretty similar, but this means, of course, that we can now have our Kvikk Lunsj. So, oh, it's a bit melted. This is my Kvikk Lunsj, my Kvikk Lunsj. That's very tasty. I've decided to do the Walk, Talk and Learn here because it gets out of the way, it ticks another challenge off, and it leaves time for speaking Norwegian when we get to Oslo. There's a sign just opposite me that I've been looking at the whole journey, and it says "Setene I denne vognen kan være reservert." And the thing I like about this is that it gives us some really good examples of how articles are used in Norwegian. So setene are the seats, the inne on the end of setene means the plural, so the seats. I denne vognen, so vognen is the carriage, and I denne vognen means in this carriage. So denne vognen is like saying this, the carriage, denne vognen. So the seats in this carriage can be reserved, kan være reservert. And the idea with this is that if you sit in one of the seats in this carriage that has been reserved by someone else, you may have to move at some point during the journey. That links to another sign that I've seen, and it's the sign on all of the chairs. It says, reservert, sitt gjerne mens det ledig. Velg en annen vogn om du vil sitte hele veien. Feel free to sit while this is free, while this seat is free. Velg en annen vogn, choose another carriage, om du vil sitte hele veien, if you want to sit the whole journey without being moved. So I think that counts as 2 walk, talk and learns, although they're not really walk, talk and learns. I've kind of been sitting most of the journey. But I suppose we did a run, talk and learn in Sweden just as we were coming to get the train in Gothenburg. So I think it all evens out. We have arrived in Oslo. It's been a long day. I've already completed 2 Norwegian challenges. I ate something Norwegian, the Kvikk Lunsj, just after we passed the border. And then we also did the walk, talk and learn in the train, although we did also see the same sign on the outside of the train. So I think that counts, and I'm walking just now, so yeah, tick there. We've still to speak some Norwegian, so let's go and do that in the Oslo Central Station. Written Norwegian and Danish are very, very similar. And one of the things I've noticed as I've arrived here is that as I look at adverts and posters and signs and so on, I'm thinking about how they would be pronounced in Danish. But I need to be thinking about Norwegian now because I'm in Norway. There's one thing left to do, and that is speak a little Norwegian. I'm going to celebrate arriving in Oslo by ordering a beer.
Hej, jeg vil gjerne have en øl, en Ringes.
Ringes, 04 eller 06?
04.
04.
Tak. Hvad skal jeg have?
Let's check today's challenges. I have eaten something Danish in Denmark, something Swedish in Sweden, and something Norwegian just over the border in Norway. I have done a walk, talk and learn in Denmark and in Sweden and on the train in Norway. And I've spoken some Danish, some Swedish, and I've just spoken some Norwegian. So I think we're good. 9 challenges, 9 right. I think that deserves en øl, a beer to celebrate. So, skål! Now, for more language challenges, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the video, and remember to hit the little bell icon that appears to get notified when we post new videos. Now, if you enjoy learning languages and travelling by train, in this video, I see how much language I can learn in one day when I had to take a long train journey. So check that one out. There's lots more like it on Coffee Break Languages YouTube channel and indeed on Coffee Break TV, our language learning platform. So for now, I'll say a Danish mange tak, a Swedish tack så mycket, and a Norwegian tusen tack. Thanks for joining me on this language adventure and happy coffee breaking.